Speaking of Mustangs, we watched Lord of the Rings, which has a horde of it. That was a stretch.
This is so stupid.
You're like, go. Yeah, I totally made that up. We need to find a new game. I don't mean that to trick you. I'm just like, that's surprising.
That's exactly what it's meant for. I like it when it's there's a bad guy and he's bad. Just eat cheese.
Man.
Yeah. This is a good morning on this particular morning. A little nipply out. I mean, nippy. I can't breathe.
Really? Oh, wait.
I'm not that in. Magic chair.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Talk This Way Podcast's pocket review episode on The Batman, released in 2022. I'm joined this episode with a good friend of mine. His name's Sam Cannon. He was actually at our movie theater event back in last year, so thanks, Sam. In this episode, we'll be talking about the movie, some behind-the-scenes things about it, some fun factoids, our opinions, what we thought. But just to get it out of the way, this is a big spoilery for the story and the way that the story and the plot operates. So if you haven't seen it yet, definitely go see it first, and then come back. If you are listening to this because you want to know an opinion before you go see the movie, just be aware that there are some spoilers ahead. So,
what's up, Andy?
Hey,
How you doing?
how's it going?
Pretty good.
Nice.
Hanging in there.
Yeah, man. How's your day been?
It was pretty good. You know, same old.
Yeah. I got you. All right. If you had to choose, which DC villain would you be?
Oh man, that's actually tough. I mean, I guess, of course, the favorite is the Joker.
Right. Right.
But man, that's incredibly hard to answer.
I know.
mean, so many anarchists and serial killers. It's so hard to choose.
Exactly.
I guess I'll just say the Joker.
Yeah. That's okay.
I guess close second might be. I mean, I guess Lex Luthor, but not for any particular reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. Would you be like the comic book Lex Luthor or the, what is it, Batman v Super, or whatever that is? It Batman v Superman that Lex Luthor was the bad guy?
Yeah. He was also
in
the original Superman movies, or not the original, but the ones that were Christopher Reeves. Superman.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But,
nice. Okay,
yeah.
Cool. That's awesome, man. I would probably say the same thing. Like, Joker is my favorite character. Although, like, this question that I found this question, obviously I didn't come up with this, where it said if you had to choose, it almost made it sound like in a negative sense, you know? like if somebody held
to choose.
Right. Exactly. And I'm like, would I choose the Joker in that situation? Like, he's my favorite, but I don't know if I would want to be
would I want to be the Joker? I mean, ultimately I wouldn't want to be I wouldn't want to get the crap beat out of me from Batman.
Right. Or have to fall into a pit of acid or if you're talking about the Dark Knight, cut my freaking mouth open, you know?
Yeah.
Nah.
At least I could tell a few jokes, you know.
Right. And maybe blow up a hospital.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So talking about the new I guess it's The Batman. It's not just Batman, it's The Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, from 2022. So let me ask, what were your thoughts about the movie's plot and overall story? So definitely spoiler alert just for all the listeners. Yeah. So what do you think?
My first impression was I really liked it. I mean, overall, I really liked this movie.
Yeah.
The plot was. I thought it was really cool. It's a different Batman, and Riddler having all those clues to the final explosion trying to wipe out Gotham. I thought was really cool, and it followed in a way that honestly people were mad that the movie was 3 hours long.
Right.
But for some reason, I watched it in IMAX on Friday, and it didn't feel like a 3-hour movie to me.
No, yeah.
I could have held in for 30 more minutes, probably.
Oh, it was very well paced.
Yeah.
It didn't feel slow.
Yeah.
You know?
Because Dune, when I watched Dune, I was like, it felt like a super long movie to me. I loved
Yeah.
Dune.
Yeah.
Like, this is a long movie and I'm loving it, but it
Right.
felt long to me. But
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
one I got out of it and I was like, that was it, you know.
Right.
Uh,
There's not more.
yeah.
Did you stay for the end credit scene?
The end credit title card, I guess, or
Yeah,
letters.
exactly.
I did, but I'm a fan of watching the credits. I like sitting and just like looking at all the names go by, and that was like this was a long credit scroll. There was a ton of people in the movie.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, once I heard that there was, it was like, I guess might as well.
I know.
I didn't go to the URL that it was.
Right.
I didn't even read up on what that actually was. Did you go to that link?
No, so my story is a little funny, and I'll try not to be very long with this. My experience at seeing this movie was like, I hate to say it because AMC is struggling,
Yeah.
but it was not great. Like the movie was great, and like I loved it, but like the experience like that the movie theater gave me while I was there, like that I experienced while I was there, was horrible.
Which one did you go to? Did you go to Spring Hill or Thoroughbred?
I did, I went to Spring Hill. The reason I went to Spring Hill is because I first got my tickets on Thursday, which was for, the opening night.
Okay.
But I remembered that I had class. And so I was like, oh crap, I can't go. But by the time I realized that it sold out all those days. So I was like, oh crap. So I was looking and I was like, well, it's pretty much sold out all the way throughout the weekend. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to do Saturday and I'm going to pick a time that I know that we can get there early. You know what I mean? Because it had completely sold out. Like I was assuming that it'd be like No Way Home, and I was like, oh my gosh, I got to No Way Home an hour and a half early, and I was still 70th in line. So it's like, okay, maybe this will be like that. So I didn't go an hour and a half early. I just went an hour early. Or no, I did go an hour and a half early because we decided to leave that early. Anyway, our showing was at 7:30. We got there at 5:30 something. So almost 2 hours early. Damn. Anyway, we waited in the car for a little bit, so we didn't really go in until 6. But anyway, we go in there. Our ticket, we're good. We buy tickets. We go, and obviously the previous showing is still happening, right?
Yeah.
So like we're not going into the theater room. We're already in the theater, but we're not in the theater room yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're sitting on the carpet outside waiting. And I'm like, okay, since we're here, let's try and get really good seats. I mean, we're already here. Let's just make it worth our while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so as soon as that other theater lets out, we go in, and there's a couple other people there with us that early. So like we go in, there's another couple, and then there's another couple, like me and my girlfriend are together doing this,
Mm-hmm.
And so we go in there, we get the best seats. Like all of us kind of sit in the same reasonable vicinity,
Yeah.
And the cleaning crew comes in and it's like, hey, can you guys leave while we clean?
Man.
I was just like, I get it. So yes, I'll get up and leave. I understand. I used to work at Carmike back when, it used to be Carmike before it was AMC. Anyway,
okay.
we get up, we go back.
I see where this is going. Okay.
We're standing like right by the door. So we haven't left the actual theater room yet. We're just standing by the door. And I'm like, okay, they're not going to vacuum here. You know what I mean? Like they're not going to clean here.
Yeah.
There's nothing here. It's just, whatever. There's a huge line of people outside. So we're sitting here waiting. Dude comes by and he goes, hey, I need you guys to actually leave. And I was like, leave like the theater room? And he was like, yeah, just stand out in that line. And I was like, well, we were here at like 6. So, we got here early so that we could get really good seats. I don't want to lose that. And he's like, oh, it's equal opportunity. It doesn't matter. And I was like, what?
What is that?
Exactly. I was like, what the hell? I paid for my ticket just like everybody else. That's equal opportunity, whatever. So it kind of made me mad. And I was just like, can I not wait right here? And then this is what threw me over the edge, is because another guy came up behind him and was like, it doesn't matter. You guys have to leave. Don't give us attitude. I was like, don't give you attitude.
Plus like getting here 2 hours early, that's also equal. Like anyone else could have gotten here 2 hours early too.
Exactly.
But yeah, I figured that once they're gonna have to wait in a long line, that's
lucky
terrible.
enough, they after them having attitude, they met me halfway and put me at the front of that line.
Okay.
But still, it was like a
Still,
race. It was a race
yeah.
to get to the middle of the rows. You know,
Yeah.
as soon as everybody went in, they ran, and I was like, "Oh shit, go!" You know.
Yeah.
So it was just like this. It just sucked. Like that part, I was like, "Wow, I've never, you know, I don't know, been disrespected like that."
I used to like going to the Spring Hill Theater for like it was more nostalgia and sentiment than
Mhm.
the overall experience.
Yeah.
But now, ever since I think I forgot what movie I watched first in IMAX more recently. I think it was
Mhm.
Shang-Chi. But
Oh yeah.
I went and saw it in IMAX, and I was like, "There's no way I can go
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
to any other theater other than IMAX. Like the
Oh, I know.
experience." And I even went back to another movie, like in a standard showing, and I was like, "It's so quiet in here. It's like
Yeah.
it's small and quiet." Like,
I know. If I
yeah,
get to choose, I will go to Dolby, like the Dolby, every time.
yeah.
Dolby is my favorite.
I actually have only seen The Lion King, and it was like in the back left corner, so
Ah,
I didn't get the full experience.
dude, I saw Endgame in Dolby. Oh
That would be
my god.
sick.
It was so good,
Yeah.
and it was worth the $25 ticket. Like,
Honestly, I mean, I'm considering getting like the whatever the stubs
yep,
thing, like
yep,
the 3 free movies. I don't know if that like includes IMAX and Dolby.
it does.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that makes it because I mean it's like $20 a month for
yep.
3 movies a week. It's and or like one movie for $20. You know,
Well,
it's
exactly. I mean, if you
yeah,
go see at least one movie in IMAX or Dolby or whatever those nicer ones are,
yeah,
like once a month, you've paid for it.
yeah.
You know,
So
so it
it's
just depends on how many movies that you like that are coming out. You know,
yeah,
like when 2020 happened, like I got rid of it. I was like, they're not even open. Like,
yeah,
why am I paying for this? Because they weren't like, oh, we're closed, you can unsubscribe. It was like, oh yeah, please keep giving us money.
yeah.
Like what the hell?
This
So
makes
yeah,
no
anyway,
sense.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
I
right.
think IMAX is completely worth it. But anyway, let's
Yeah, I know we gotta
move
get back on topic here.
The Batman.
So yeah,
All right.
so the plot and the story you thought was really really good.
And yeah, I mean, I've read into it. I mean, there was a shocking amount of people that actually like completely hated this movie that I was surprised to see.
Yeah,
Reading up on it. So it was odd because out of the theater, I was like, this is amazing. Like this is up there with The Dark Knight
right.
movies. But yeah, overall, I found it somewhat hard to follow at some points, but it wasn't like I could
Yeah,
still follow. It was just there were
right.
certain points where it was like, what's going on here?
Yeah,
Where is this leading? But then it wrapped up in the end and made sense.
right.
So
No, I agree. And I also thought like the focus on Batman as a detective was really really cool. You
yeah,
know,
because
like it.
I grew up with not the 90s Batman animated series, but the later one. Well, I grew up with both, but
Yeah.
the one that's like in the 2000s,
Right.
we had like a CD of that, and that was like a heavy detective Batman.
Yeah,
And I
man.
really liked that one, and I just love the detective nature of Batman. Not
Wow.
saying that Nolan's Batman wasn't great because his
Right.
was also amazing.
Yeah.
But I like the different like standpoint on the Batman or the different view that they
Yeah.
took on Batman. It was cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like you have to compare them because they're both the same character and they're both movie. You know what I mean? Like they have too much in
Yeah.
common not to. But
Hmm.
I would also look at them as two different movies. You know, I mean, like two
Yeah.
different. It's the same character, but two different people are interpreting the story. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like it's uncomparable and comparable at the same time.
Yeah.
um,
And that's really that's honestly kind of a cool thing that I like about DC and the way that DC has done it in the past. I mean, of course, not like willingly, and even Marvel did it a little bit with Spider-Man, but
right.
they're not necessarily trying to justify that there's like millions of different Batman, millions of
Yeah.
different Supermans. It's sort
Yeah.
of just like it sets it up to where like say Christopher Nolan and Matt Reeves, two different directors, can have their own standpoint, and it's like okay, yeah, that's you know, it's not like that doesn't make any sense in reality, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what Marvel's doing is kind of they can have literally infinite amount
Yeah.
of characters and it'll all make sense because
Right.
they make it make sense. So it's
Well,
like,
and that's why that's kind of why I like this Batman versus like the Ben Affleck and the whole
yeah.
Justice League everything. Like they were trying to be Marvel so hard, and it
Yeah.
just with this, I didn't get that vibe at all.
And
Like,
that's what I love, because it feels like DC is actually finding their niche in
yeah,
their niche in the cinematic universe, especially with like their DC like quote unquote Black Label, I think is what they're calling it.
right,
Um,
right.
Joker movie, and it's
Yep.
like, I don't know, they're just like great films. I don't know,
Hmm.
it's not trying to be too Marvel humor. It's like down to earth emotional films that are just, because I mean
Yes.
Batman ultimately is more, I would say, the more emotional, because there's not really an emotional attachment. Like he was an alien that
Right.
crashed onto Earth and he can do everything. Like
Yeah,
big
yeah. He's
whoop.
he's God,
Like yeah, wow.
basically.
Ooh. But
Right.
Batman, his parents died, so.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, seriously, like that. There's just that emotional draw. That's why I think Spider-Man also is just really, there is that emotional draw there where he like loses so much, and now that sort of shaped him into the superhero he is.
Right, right.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
I love that they also started this with Batman being Batman already. And like
yeah,
having the
me
cred
too.
that he does. Like I didn't have to sit there and like watch Bruce Wayne turn into Batman again. You know,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
for the
he's
100th
like,
time.
oh,
Yeah.
thank God. I started feeling like Spider-Man. I was like, come on.
Yeah.
But
And I thought that was cool too, because even though he was already the Batman, he was still kind of green in the Batman, because this Bat
right.
portrayed as him sort of earlier on in
Yeah.
his Batman years. So
Yeah.
there was still room for character development, which there was a lot, which
Yes.
is another
Yes.
point that I loved, was the character development of Batman as the hero Batman.
Right,
Um,
right.
which I thought was really cool, because in the beginning he was like not sluggish because he was beating the crap out of people with ease, but
Yeah, yeah.
the way that he was doing things and the way that he viewed things, sort of like in the beginning, was he was more of a sign of fear. And
Hmm.
and this is kind of a sidetrack, but on the movie, I realized this later on, that that whole like sort of his character development through the whole movie was sort of like visualized by the people that were like how the people did to Batman, like the innocent people. Because in the
Hmm.
very beginning, we had that mob shot where that guy was getting mugged, and
Hmm.
Batman showed up and he beat the crap out of all the bad guys, and the innocent guy was still like, "Please don't hurt me." Like the innocent guy was
Right.
still scared of Batman, but in the
Yeah.
very like that lady that was on the stretcher was like holding Batman's hand while she was going up. It was almost like Gotham has now like had like found its like
Yeah.
faith in Batman, and that's sort of the hope driving his character, where people aren't necessarily scared. He's still going to beat the crap, but he's not just a sign of fear. Like
Right.
when that signal hits the sky, I wish they would have done like, I don't remember if they did, but I wish they would have like taken a spin on that first sort of monologue of what, like, when that signal hits the sky, it's not just a warning. It's yeah, it's not just a call, it's a warning.
Right, right.
And I wish they would have done like some sort of spin where it was like, it's not just a call, it's not just a warning, it's a sign of hope or something like that. I don't know,
Yeah, yeah.
but because that's sort of how I interpreted that in the
Yeah,
end.
no, 100%. I mean, that was basically the whole like. I mean, if you remember, again, this is huge spoilery, but at the near the end when all the Riddler henchmen or whatever that were
Hmm.
shooting, they were like, "Who are you?" or whatever, and he was like, "I'm Vengeance," which is exactly what Batman used to say about himself. And so it
Yeah.
was like,
Oh
wow,
wow,
this really isn't working.
I didn't even notice. Yeah, I didn't even notice that. Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of had this look on his face of like, maybe I need to change the way that I do
Yeah,
things.
like
You know?
everyone's vengeance now. Yeah.
Right. That's my thing. What are you doing?
Hey. Yeah.
Exactly. But
Uh,
anyway, okay. Let's move on to the second or third question here. What was your favorite scene or part?
this is also hard because there were so many great
Yes.
scenes.
Yes.
This honestly, this movie was like packed full. This is also why it didn't feel like a long movie, because there were slower periods of time, but they were broken up by just like epic scenes,
Right. Right.
and a couple shots, and I guess a scene. I'll say there was
Yeah. Yeah.
of course the car chase is up
Yes.
there, and the shot of Batman hanging upside down was really cool.
Hmm.
I love the Matt Reeves shot of the fight scene being lit by only the gunshots.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, that was amazing.
because it wasn't Matt Reeves, it was his I forgot it, his director of photography, or director of photography, I think. There was one specific person that also was on Rogue One and did that Darth Vader sequence
Yeah.
when like it was only lit by the lightsaber and the blasters.
Yep.
And that was the same guy that did this movie. So there was
That's
definitely
awesome.
similarities, especially in like the club scene where like flashing lights and you're seeing Batman through the, mist and the flashing lights of the club.
Right.
But pretty much any fight scene I loved.
Yeah.
And then the sequence at the very end, I just remember when Batman was like in Riddler's apartment, figured it out, what do, and then the bombs start going off, and then you see like all the different Riddler's goons, I'll call them, getting into place.
Yeah.
And it was almost like there's no way Batman could possibly save the day right here. It just seemed like hopeless at that point. And then like the roof blows up, Batman drop, and it's just like I remember laughing out loud during that because it was just the build on that was just perfect.
Right. Yeah, no, they executed that amazingly.
Yeah. And the adrenaline shot scene was super cool. I thought, or whatever it was, shot.
Yeah.
It was green.
He gave himself some steroids. And
yeah.
Like,
and I had a theory that might be the same fluid that Bane uses, but like if that was sort of the route that they were going.
Venom, that would be so cool.
I thought that would be really sick that he just had that on hand. Where
Bro,
he just
it was
could take
green
a shot.
too.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thought.
Oh
like
my
this
gosh.
had to have some sort of like tie-in to Bane or something, because there was a lot of tie-ins. I read an article the movie because there was that Joker again, spoilers, I guess.
Right.
The Joker. I'm not going to call it a cameo because technically that actually wasn't what Matt Reeves' intention was.
Right.
By definition, was a cameo.
Yeah.
I read an article where that actually wasn't a sequel setup, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Where basically Matt Reeves, which I still think it was really cool. It was more so like world building and sort of like all these characters are existing in the same spot. It's not just like one villain, because usually in the past from Batman movies, it's like one villain at a time. Like it's just Bane, just Catwoman, it's just the Joker and just Two-Face. But this one, he wanted to have like, you see remnants, you see of course Falcone and the Penguin and Catwoman, and of course the Riddler. But you also see signs of like you see the Joker, and I don't know if there's any other villains in here, but I mean, of course, like different gangs and like, I guess, of course, just the dreariness of Gotham. Right. But I liked how he sort of had that, because I mean, Penguin, he wasn't the main villain.
Right.
Movie. Like he didn't have like a huge villainous arc. He was so a supportive character in this. I forgot his name, but is it the person that played that? I forgot, but that played the Penguin is like, I didn't know who the actor was, and then I found out, and he's like completely unrecognizable. I completely forgot the actor's name.
He doesn't look anything like he did when he was the Penguin.
No, like in real life, he's like completely unrecognizable.
Oh my gosh.
I wish I could remember his name. But did you ever watch? This is kind of odd, but did you ever watch Saving Mr. Banks?
Yes.
In the flashbacks. That guy.
My gosh.
You remember that?
No way.
Yeah, it was that guy, and it was like that.
What?
Yeah, no, it's funny because I couldn't have.
Right. I wouldn't. I mean, I didn't think that I still don't believe you. I'm gonna have to go look it up.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But anyway, he did a really good job because I loved that Penguin.
Yeah.
Even more so than I wasn't a fan of Tim Burton's Penguin, how like a mutated guy that is like technically a penguin, I guess, because he has 3 fingers and a pointy nose.
That's stupid.
But I like the Penguin being more of that mob boss kind of guy.
Well, I mean, even in like the cartoons, like, the what was it, Batman Beyond or whatever? I can't remember. But it was like the Penguin was not like, he dressed in a suit that made him look like a penguin. You know what I mean? But he was not, and like he had no correlation to actually physically being a penguin. He was just an Italian mob boss that dressed in a suit. And so we were like, oh, you look like a penguin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's funny. That's really funny. So I would say real quick, my favorite, I guess, part, it's multiple parts, but it's like, it was continuous throughout the whole film, was Batman never really like, I don't know, like like there was no jump scares when he came into a room. It was like it was either a grand entrance and everybody saw it coming, or he did what my favorite thing is, where you just heard chunk, chunk, chunk,
Yeah.
chunk of him just walking out of the darkness
Yeah.
into just enough light for you to shit your pants.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like I mean,
Yeah.
I would be like, I'd be gone as soon as I chunk of his boots. I would be like,
Yeah.
oh no, we're leaving. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
We're out. You know what I'm saying? And then as soon as
Yeah.
they see him, it's like, oh, like I got goosebumps. I've got goosebumps now thinking about it, but I got goosebumps like the whole freaking time.
Yeah.
Every single time that came on, I was like, oh.
Yeah, because this Batman actually was scary because like even in the or like it wasn't horror.
Right.
Even like in the comics Batman, he's supposed to be like a sign of fear because that's sort of what the Batman is.
Yeah.
But like a gray and slightly purple dark cape to me wasn't really like terrifying. But if I saw
No.
some like grim all black like walking
Yeah.
up, like I was actually like if I was in the theater, I was like sort of like in their shoes being like this, I'm gonna die now. This is
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
this is how I die. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I know. It was super cool. And then I also liked how he used his grappling hook in more than just like he'd actually shoot it through people's legs and pull them.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh my God, that's exactly how that would be used.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like it was super realistic in that sense. But
Yeah.
all right.
Super cool.
So who was your favorite character? Or, you know, since there were so many good characters, you know, all that kind of stuff, just pick like a favorite. It doesn't have to be your number one favorite, but you know, just a favorite character of yours.
I liked Robert Pattinson's Batman.
Yeah.
That sort of seems like a cliche.
No, totally. I get
But
it.
I liked his Batman. However, controversially, I guess, I didn't really like his Bruce Wayne that much. Because his Bruce Wayne was a little bit too much like Batman in my mind, especially in the funeral scene.
Yeah.
Like to me, Bruce Wayne is supposed to be the deterrent from Batman. Like he's supposed to be like
Nobody would think it's him.
Yeah, his playboy billionaire
Right.
persona is supposed to like deter that he is Batman. However, in
Right.
this, when and there's even a few scenes I don't remember fully. I really want to watch this movie again to sort of see if this is actually a thing that happened. But there
Yeah.
was one scene when he goes up to the club, like Batman walks up in the Batman suit and was like, "You know who I am?"
Yeah.
And then like the comic relief goons, which I actually really like those goons for Penguin. But
Yeah,
anyway, and then later on, Bruce Wayne comes back without a suit and says the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I'm
in the
pretty sure
same
that
tone.
happened. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
no,
like
it did.
I thought it would be funny if the goons were just like, man, like
Right.
Batman said the same thing. You
I know. Like it's that same cliche of the whole Superman putting on glasses. It's like,
Yeah,
no,
it's like-
that's not gonna fool
that's-
anybody.
And I wish that there was. I don't know if there. I'm certain there is, but that'd be funny if there was like an SNL. Like, there's one guy in the room that knows that it's Superman, but everyone about like it's not Superman.
Exactly.
That is Superman. Look.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh
But
my gosh.
yeah, but also the funeral scene where he's sort of like standing in the exact same posture as he was standing when crime scene.
Yeah.
But then again, I know I told you this earlier, but like or earlier in real life.
Right.
But I liked how sort of played the part of the guy that is sort of too much Batman right now. Sort of
Yes.
he's in the dark all the time, even because he like comes up wearing sweats and sunglasses to an accountant meeting.
Right.
And he's sort of still kind of in that childish, I guess, of
Yeah.
not really caring about being rich and famous. He just wants to be Batman.
Yep.
Um,
Like Bruce Wayne is his mask.
yeah,
Yeah.
because that was a Riddler thing where it was like when I have the mask on, like there's no limits,
Right.
Which that scene with the Riddler and Batman in the jail was all, or in Arkham was, I loved that sequence of events.
Yeah.
But I didn't really like the fact. I mean, it was cool, and I got it. But I would have liked the Batman to find the Riddler as opposed to him just giving himself up.
Yeah.
And also, this Riddler did give me semi Heath Ledger vibes, if I'm being honest.
Oh yeah.
even on like
it's
the
all
camera.
mental. It's all mental illness. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the whole shtick of everything was like he is mentally ill. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
and you got that vibe the whole time. Like even my girlfriend Julia, she's going into social work. Like that's her career field. And she walked out of that movie going like, man, these kind of movies are really hard for me to watch. And I'm like, why is that? And she's like, they're not far from the truth. Like
they do their research on.
I mean, I don't want to get super like sad and dark here, but think like, that in this movie, the Riddler parked a bunch of vans with bombs and blew up the walls and flooded the city, right?
Yeah.
In 2020, a mentally ill man parked a van out front of the AT&T building in Nashville and blew it up.
Yeah.
And everybody lost internet for like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's pretty close.
Yeah.
Like that, if enough planning and enough, if you're really, really mentally ill and you don't have any help, you could get there. I really, but anyway, on that sad note.
Yeah. I overall, I really like this movie. I was about to say one more thing about the Riddler. And I did really like the Riddler post, like whenever he's in the diner. That's probably my favorite Riddler sequence.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that I'll just leave it at that.
Well, and I thought it was good. Like he didn't look, he didn't look any certain way. Like it was just some dude. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like he's got battle scars and it was literally like an emotionally, or mentally ill person. Like it wasn't anything special necessary. I mean, he was a genius. Like, him talking about how he did puzzles and riddles and stuff when he was growing up. I'm like, yes, that makes it way more realistic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And than you having a like riddle stick on your head or whatever it's called, a question mark stick.
Yeah. And I think they definitely modeled his. I think Matt Reeves modeled his like serial killer persona after the Zodiac killer. Like the a lot of the different things that he did were actually things that the Zodiac killer had done. I guess. Yeah. But I thought that was really cool. And also, a side note, the sound design in this movie was off the chain.
Dude, yes.
The sound design, the music was like, I feel like they could have gotten a little bit more inventive with it, but it fit.
Right.
It fit really well because of course, the Batman theme was a derivative of Hans Zimmer's theme.
Yes.
But it
right.
And I think especially there was one moment in the final fight scene where I did laugh out loud from how cool. There was one sound that came out of the right speaker and it was just like super loud, and it was right before Batman had like fallen off one of the ledges and and I don't even know what sound it was, but it was epic.
Are you talking about when he got shot by the shotgun?
Yeah, and there was like a sound, of course, the horror violins that went off.
Yes.
It was
It was paired with the shotgun blast sound, but it was music, like a music side to it or whatever you call it.
Yeah, and it was the whole.
That's cool.
The whole sound audio experience, especially in IMAX, was unbelievable to me. It was amazing.
Yeah. I definitely think I'm probably going to go see it again in Dolby or IMAX.
You should,
so that I can experience that.
It's worth it. Yeah.
100%.
All
right.
Plus, you can reserve seats too, so you don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they won't be sold out this time.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the final question: how does this movie make you feel about the future of DC films?
Honestly, it feels pretty good. They have
a huge lineup coming up. You know what I mean?
They do. I guess there's sort of a hint of a little bit because they had, of course, before the movie, at least in the IMAX. I don't know if it did it in the too, but they had like a pre-movie thing of the next few movies, like Black Adam, The Flash, and the next Aquaman movie.
Yeah. Yep.
And I hope that they do go a little bit more this route, less Marvel-y, which I don't know if they're going to do that with The Rock or not, or The Flash.
I know. I mean, The Flash, from what I've heard, is like they're going to talk about different, what they call it, different dimensions, which is like the Justice League stuff. Yeah. And I'm hoping that when they do that, if they do that, that it'll be like, that never happened, or like, we're just gonna ignore that. We're just gonna pretend that didn't happen or pretend that doesn't exist anymore. We're gonna do this now.
Yeah.
And then they just do something better. Like, I'm okay with that. Let's just move on. You know.
Enough multiverse. My brain's already hurting from Marvel. So.
Exactly. Now, I will say, I love, and this is like just a movie fan, like a movie geek thing, but I love that DC and Marvel and like all of these movie companies they're not fighting each other. Like they're using each other to grow, like all together. Like there was literally was it 2 Marvel trailers for a DC film?
Yeah.
Go back 10 years, that never would have happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it would have been like, oh no, only DC trailers and only movies that are gonna help us have a better sale, have better sales. But it's like everybody's going to the theater to watch a Marvel movie. That's just gonna happen. So why not pull in that, that extra whatever, like money, watch time, whatever you want to call it, to have a trailer for a Marvel movie play at the beginning of our movie. You know what I mean? Like it keeps people coming back to the movies, which makes them make more money, if that makes sense. Because if people stop going to the movies, I mean, I'm sure you can make money on the subscription based stuff and at home, but I don't know. I really pray and I hope that the movie theater experience doesn't go away.
Yeah, that's my prayer as well. And I honestly don't think it will. For some reason, there's been a plethora of like amazing movies that have come out just recently over the past like year or so, since like August.
Yes,
there's been like great movies that have come out. Like
I know.
I'm like more enthralled to go to the movie theater more and more. Like watching a movie at home is boring now, man. Like it's too easy.
Well, and it's just like it's
not as loud,
I love, like, other than my experience that I just had at the Batman. I love the movie theater experience. I love going. I love getting there early, getting to pick the seats, getting the popcorn. Like, I don't eat popcorn every time, and I actually don't eat popcorn a lot. It's very rare that I do, but I'll get like an icy. I'll get like a drink or something, or I'll sneak in some candy or what. I mean, what? I'm just kidding. So it's
don't hunt me. Don't.
Right. Don't sue me. But anyway, so it's just like I love that whole experience of watching the trailer, like watching the trailers on a big screen instead of watching them with ads on YouTube. It's like, no. I'm here for this whole thing. Yeah.
Me as well. That's why I like going to the credit and like watching the credits. Of course, sometimes people that are with me don't like that. But I'm there with you. Like my whole movie experience is like, I've made a pact with myself that I have to get a soda every time I go to the movies. It's always
I like to drink something. Like I don't know. I like to.
Yeah.
I just like to have a drink, But if I get like an actual soda or a water or something, then I'll end up having to pee halfway through. So for some reason, I don't know why, but the icy helps me get through the whole movie without having to pee. So I'm just like, huh.
That was one thing I was super surprised at. Like, it was a 3-hour movie, and I surprisingly didn't have to pee at any point.
Dude,
that was also why it felt shorter to me because of that. I was like, it's not halfway done,
Right, exactly. Oh my gosh, dude, you have no idea. Literally with Endgame, I didn't have any drink. Like, I was too excited to consume anything. And I literally, like, halfway through, I was like, oh my God, I have to pee so bad right now, but I'm not leaving. I almost peed myself, but I made it.
But it's also, this is the most disheartening thing, because it's like, I don't know, having to leave, and then you're like, when you watch it the next time, or when you go back and you miss you try to time it to where it's like, oh, it's kind of quiet right now. So, and what seems like an unimportant factoid or scene of the movie ends up being the entire plot of the movie. Like if it's a Christopher Nolan film and you somehow miss fact,
you can't.
It's like,
if it's Christopher Nolan, you're not allowed to leave.
I honestly, more recently, I'm falling in love with Christopher Nolan as a director.
He's amazing.
I'm a huge fan of everything that Christopher Nolan does, even though sometimes it's and his films, but
well,
I seem to understand
people either love or hate his stuff. Like, there's no in between. There's no like, it was okay. It's like, oh no, it was great or it was awful.
I just love his whole approach to film. It's like so like pure like storyteller. It's not like famous Hollywood try to get money scheme. He's actually in it for like great film, and it shows because he tries to break the rules and go
Yeah.
big, and yeah, it's just
Yep.
it's cool.
I love it. I love movies.
I love
You know.
yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Well, hey, we're at 40 minutes, so I think we should
Okay.
probably call it.
Yeah.
This is gonna take a long time for me to edit. But anyway, man, thank you so much for coming on here.
It was
Really
so much
appreciate
fun.
it.
I love talking about movies, especially the Batman.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, even though you're moving away, we could still totally do this. You know, it's all over the phone, so
Yeah,
you don't have to be in the same state to be able to record.
that would be awesome.
Right.
I would love that, dude.
Cool. All right, man. Well, hey, have a good night.
All right, you as well, man.
All right.
Peace.
See ya.